My name's Kathleen Lewis, and I was born and raised in Washington and lived in the woods.
I'm Don Lewis, and I grew up in Washington State like Kathy did. I grew up out in the country. So Kathy and I met, and we're a good match. We've been married for a long time. We're going to be 55 years this next year.
My father became an Alzheimer patient at the age of 75, and I am 74, and he lived for 8 years in an Alzheimer's unit in Chehalis before he passed away, and that was a very sad, traumatic experience for our family. And because I'm so much like my father, I thought that the possibility of having Alzheimer's would be pretty good. When we lived in Portland, I started feeling anxious, and I would be nervous whenever we would have company. And I loved people. It was just that I just felt like I couldn't cope with being capable in places where there were a lot of people. And I still continued to kind of cycle down and get more and more anxiety. And I didn't really, it wasn't constant. And our lives together have been so fun and easy that I didn't really know, I didn't explain to him how bad I was feeling. I didn't really even know I was feeling so bad because it comes on gradually. But I had learned about functional medicine because I am a reader, and I had studied, heard some things and started looking for information on the internet and got a bunch of information about Dr. Dale Bredesen and all the other pioneers of functional medicine. So I had gone online looking for a functional medicine doctor and couldn't find any in Portland. And when I started feeling panicky, I told Don, I don't want to go to any doctor except a functional medicine doctor. And so he went online and found Dr. Hanes.
And I found him about a year before we actually came here. But by that time, she was feeling more apprehensive about this Alzheimer's idea. And so went back on and did some more research on Dr. Hanes and then told her about it. So then we made the appointment and came here in March. We came here primarily because you were concerned about Alzheimer's. That's why we got started. And then we found out that we had Candida. We found out that I've got something else I didn't know I had. I was feeling healthy. I just came along to support Kathy when I came to Dr. Hanes' office. Take Hashimoto's, for example. It's a thyroid condition, autoimmune condition. And if I didn't find out until my thyroid was damaged and I needed surgery, that would be a whole lot worse than finding out when I did. So we've been treating that, Dr. Hanes has been treating that in a preventive way instead of surgical way. So I'm very thankful for that. And who knows when I would have had more serious problems with it. You know, because I didn't have symptoms, I wasn't concerned for myself. I became more concerned for her. When
I look back at it, I think I was starting to feel anxiety a lot sooner than I realized. It comes on slowly, and I'm a very outgoing person, and it's unusual to be anxious when you're outgoing. So I feel like I'm a outgoing introvert. But the one thing that I did notice was I couldn't remember names. I would be talking and I talk fast, and then all of a sudden I'd have to think of a name. I couldn't remember the name, and then I'd remember, oh, it starts with J. And then I'd have to go through all the names that start with J.
At this age, I'm having the same issues. And it's not just me, it's other people our age have the same issues. But because of her father's Alzheimer's, she was more concerned about it. We had to go see Dr. Hanes and get his help.
I didn't have any other physical symptoms other than the neuropathy of my feet. I didn't have anything except the dizziness and anxiety. My feet started getting better after he took us off of sugar. We could have vegetables and meat. We couldn't have fruit, we couldn't have gluten. But you know, if you're facing Alzheimer's, meat and vegetables are pretty good.
What I noticed following that protocol is I liked it. I liked the idea of eating healthier. Plus the fact that preventive medicine, the preventive care includes the diet we're on. It's improving our health overall, I believe, by cutting out the sugar and the gluten. I think Dr. Hanes' approach is a lot different than my experience with other doctors. I trust him. The reason I trust him is because of what we knew about functional medicine, first of all, and then getting to know him. And his treatment involves him explaining things, asking us questions, proving things ahead of time like exams and blood draws and that kind of thing, being sensitive to our needs and budget, understanding us a whole lot more completely than the typical primary care physician or medical doctor will.
I think it's partially he makes you almost feel like he's a relative of yours. You feel a friendship that's a kinship.
I'd like to have all of my friends come and see Dr. Hanes. And I was thinking about recently, I was fishing on the Crooked River and I saw somebody that I knew before and I asked how she was. And so she said, well, I could lie and say I'm great, but you know, I get these health problems. She started talking about her problems. I said, well, you know, we've been going to a doctor right there in Prineville where you live, and we've had some of the same issues. And it's a functional medicine doctor. And she said, how did you find a functional medicine doctor? And so I said, well, he's right there in Prineville. He's got an office building with his name on it. So we tell our friends, and it's because of the trust and the overall care that we're getting that we wouldn't be getting somewhere else.
I would encourage anyone who has these symptoms of neuropathy in the feet, of dizziness, of feeling anxious in crowds, of having difficulty remembering words when you before could, you know, talk forever.
And even having Alzheimer's in the family.
Yeah, or yes, definitely if there's Alzheimer's in the family or diabetes in the family, to go online and look for Dr. Hanes or any functional medicine who might be in your city or in a nearby town. There's not very many around, but they are there if you look for them, and they're worth it, definitely.